How much money can you make pressure washing? In this video, we're going to be going through all the different services that you can offer and all of the average prices for these services. And if you hang on until the end of the video, I'm also going to talk through how many jobs you can do on a day-to-day basis, depending upon what equipment level you're at, and a range for how much you can ultimately make a day pressure washing. But if you guys also need help on how to quote pressure washing jobs after this video, I did an entire video on how we quote pressure washing jobs using Quote IQ to measure the square footage of the property. So that way we don't have to go out to every single house in person to take a look and give quotes. So I'll leave that linked in the comment section and the description if you guys want to check that out. It allows us to send quick, easy, fast quotes, and we're able to beat all of our competition to the punch when it comes to quoting properties. And if you guys didn't know, 87% of people go with the first quote that they get. And that's something that we take advantage of a lot when it comes to lead flow coming into our business and getting them quotes as quickly as possible. But if you're looking to start a pressure washing business and you're not sure what chemicals to use, how to mix them, how to clean every surface on a residential job site, property protection, or how to set up your equipment, check out the How to Wash course. It'll be linked in the comment section and the description as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. The first and foremost thing that I want to go over is the main services, right? For anybody who doesn't know, with pressure washing, there's three main services that we offer. It's house washes, roof washes, and driveway cleanings. And I want to preface before I get into the average price for these jobs, these average prices are dependent upon what equipment you're running, what your lead flow looks like, the population density around you, what the cost of living is. And so I just want to let you guys know my average prices are going to vary a lot from maybe somebody who lives in like Houston, Texas, or somebody who lives in California, or somebody who lives in New York. Businesses and higher population densities will be able to charge more than us. This is just the average price that, we've kind of figured with a lot of the jobs that we do currently. But like I said, it also depends on how much lead flow you have coming in, cost of living, equipment. There's a bunch of different factors that play into this. So take all my prices with a grain of salt and kind of use them as a baseline for you. This is not to say that you can't go above these. This isn't to say that you won't charge less than these. This is just kind of the range that we've come to find with regards to a majority of our customers. So with regards to house washes, concrete cleanings, and roof washes, house washes we'll go through first. I told you guys we do quote all these jobs based on the square foot. So if you guys want to see what our square footage prices are and how we're able to measure these properties and get quotes out super fast, be sure to check out the quoting video below. But it typically ranges between $300 and $500. Now, that's not to say that we don't do more expensive house washes. We typically don't do anything less than $300 though. It is important to have a minimum pricing when it comes to your pressure washing business, at least when you're established. In the beginning, I'd do jobs for anything, right? Because if somebody offered me $75, I'd probably just go knock it out because why not, right? I don't have a lot of work. I don't have a lot of clientele coming in. But for us, we don't do anything under $250. So $300 is going to be probably our minimum house wash price, and $500 is going to be the higher end of the average price that we're typically charging for these house washes. Now, when it comes to concrete cleanings, typical driveways are gonna range, but we don't do anything like I mentioned for anything under $250. So all of our concrete pricings are going to be bundled with either a house wash or a roof wash. Now, concrete typically is one of those little add-on services that we do. It's something that kind of allows you to up the average ticket price a little bit. It's not something that we make a tremendous amount of money on. It's just something that gets a little bit extra money in our pocket when we're on site at these properties. So I would say a typical driveway is going to average between 125 on the low end to 225 on the high end. And we usually leverage our concrete cleanings to give us either a little bit more money on the ticket or to seal the deal. Like we'll say, we'll throw in the back patio and the sidewalks if you guys want to go ahead and get on the schedule today. It's just a way for us to get a little bit more money or get somebody on the schedule. So between 125 and 225 on concrete cleanings, and roof washes typically range on the low end, $500 to, on the upper end, we've done jobs for $1,000, $1,200, but I would say probably $850 is the average on the higher end. Now, if you're able to get into some big neighborhoods and you're able to get into some neighborhoods with, HOAs or country clubs, or if you're getting in a situation where there's an insurance claim on the roof, these particular circumstances lend themselves to charging more for roof washes. But if we're talking about the everyday person, we're typically not able to get 1,000 plus for those. So we will come down a little bit on roof washes. So I would say probably we usually average closer to that 850, but we have done some for cheaper, especially on some smaller homes. So that's our average on most of the residential services. I now want to get into add-ons. A lot of people don't think about add-ons when it comes to running their pressure washing business. Add-ons are another great way for us to raise that average ticket price. So the first one I want to talk about is gutter cleaning. Obviously, when it comes down into the fall, we start looking at gutter cleaning to, add a little service in. For us, we don't really do it as much anymore. Now, if we don't have as much commercial work during the slower times of the year, we will do some gutter cleanings. But typically, gutter cleanings are going to be anywhere from 150 to 250 because you are doing a linear footage price. The next one is residential stain removal, so oil stains, rust stains. These are so dependent upon how big the stain is and how bad the customer wants it up. Some customers don't care that much. They just want to get their driveway clean. Other customers, make a point to point it out. And so the pricing for the service is very dependent upon how much the customer wants it up and the severity of the stain. So I can't really give you guys an exact price on this, but I would say anywhere between $100 to $300 on stain removals. Gutter brightening is another one we don't get a ton of. We have done a couple jobs with regards to gutter brightening. It's going to be a linear foot price, and it really just depends on how much the customer really wants to get it done. And then last add-on that I want to mention to you guys is wood fence cleaning. Once again, a linear foot price. We don't do a ton of fence cleaning, but when we do, we make sure that we get our minimum, which is at least $250. And yeah, it just makes for another great add-on. If you guys missed a recent video that we did, we actually did 3 duplexes. On the duplexes, we did the duplex wash, we did all the concrete, and then we did the fences as well. So the fences were just a good way for us to kind of bolster that ticket price and make a little bit more money. So add-on services are great. I probably missed a couple, but gutter cleaning, gutter brightening, residential stain removals, and wood fence cleaning, those are some great add-ons for you guys to kind of think about and consider when it comes to starting a pressure washing business and how much money you can actually make. Next, let's talk a little bit about commercial. Now, with regards to residential, things kind of stay within a box. Like I can kind of box in what the prices typically look like on residential. Add-ons, as I mentioned before, makes it a little bit more challenging. But when we get into commercial, things get a little bit crazy, right? Because there's some small commercial jobs, and there's some huge monster commercial jobs, and we've done everything in between. So I would say for a day's work on commercial, we can typically average between $1,000 to $3,500 a day, depending upon what services we're offering. But between $1,000 to $3,500 on a good commercial job is, I would say, pretty typical for an average. So let's get into the particular services. I'm going to talk a little bit about building washes, window cleanings, and concrete cleanings. On building washes, like I said, there's such a range, right? We've done building washes as low as like $500 for a commercial building, but we've also done building washes for up to $10,000, $15,000. We did a huge warehouse that was like 100,000 square feet. We did the building and we did the TPO roof on top, and that was a $20,000 job. So it ranges vastly. Okay, so between $500 to $10,000. Now with window cleaning, it's a little bit easier. Typical window cleaning jobs, we don't do a lot of window cleaning. I'll be honest with you guys. We did one job recently. It was like $700. We charged per window on that one. I believe it was $12 per window, and they had quite a few windows. So with window cleaning, it's a little bit easier because you can kind of say, hey, we're going to do a per window price, and that's how you kind of get your average. Now, based on the comments that I got on that video, it doesn't seem as though $700 was an average price for that, but we just kind of lucked out because we did the building, we did the concrete, and we striped it, and so they just wanted the same company to go ahead and knock out the windows as well. So that's what I was telling you guys before. Ranges a lot. Lastly, concrete cleaning. You won't make as much money with commercial concrete cleaning as you might think. The bigger the square footage, the more of a discount that we give, and the more competitive it gets with regards to people pricing into commercial concrete. But you can make a lot of money with commercial concrete. You just have to do a lot of volume as well. So we don't try to make our money with the concrete cleanings. Concrete cleaning is just more so of a bonus, just like with the residential properties that I was telling you guys about before. So now that we've kind of covered all the bases with regards to average amounts that we can earn for different services, let's get into how much money you can make every single day, depending upon what your setup is looking like. So first I want to start off with a beginner setup, right? This is Home Depot pressure washer. This is using an XJet, a downstreamer, something like that to apply your chemical. This is like buying SH jugs from Lowe's and Home Depot. This is kind of how a lot of us start. This was exactly how I started in the beginning as well. So for a beginner setup, I would say you can get between 1 and 2 houses per day and probably between 1 and 2 driveways per day. And that's all in one day. So you can do 2 houses, 2 driveways. And I would say that's kind of on the max end of that because when you're working with a residential unit and hauling it around the house, it just makes things take a lot longer. So with our 2 house, 2 driveway max on a beginner setup, I would say that we could probably do about $800 in house washes, $250 in concrete cleanings, and we could probably make between $1,050 to $1,200 a day. I would say that that's pretty much on the upper end of the beginner setup with regards to where I'm currently located. As you guys know, if you're able to make $1,200 a day for 5 days out of the week, that's a pretty good paycheck every single week. Next, let's get into the intermediate setup though. And with intermediate setup, I mean like you're running like a 5.5 gallon a minute pressure washer. You got the trailer loaded up, or you have a skid on the back of the truck. You have a soft wash system. So you're able to do jobs a lot quicker. You're working with a lot of hose, so you're able to kind of run around the house a bit. And I would say on the upper end, you could probably do about 3 houses a day, 2 driveways, and a roof. And with an intermediate setup, I've seen guys do, 200, 250, $1,000 a year with that kind of setup. So I would say between $1,500 and $2,000 a day if you have an intermediate setup. Now, with regards to pricing, a beginner setup is obviously going to be much cheaper than an intermediate setup, but you give yourself the opportunity to make a lot more money, right? You pretty much can double your money with the intermediate setup. Now, if you have an advanced setup, if you have an 8 gallon a minute machine and you got bigger tanks, you could probably do about 3 roofs, 3 houses a day. I've seen guys do up to 5 roofs a day. And that's just residential. Like everything really is dependent upon lead flow, upsells, locations of jobs, issues that arise on the job. But with an advanced setup, I would say on the higher end, you can make between 2 and 3K a day. And obviously, there's people that are going to do better than that. There's people that are going to do less than that. But like I said, it depends on how many jobs you got coming in. Are you able to upsell these jobs? How close are they to one another? And you just never know what issues are going to arise on the job. It just feels like a lot of times we'll be pretty ambitious for what we're going to try to get done in a day. And, sometimes something fails or something goes out. We have to troubleshoot, and then it ends up, eating into the day. So beginner setup, $1,000 to $1,200 a day, intermediate 15 to 2 grand, and advanced between 2 and 3 grand a day. Now, if you guys made it this far in the video, comment down below ching, and I'll hashtag you a real one. My name is Justin, Forever Self-Employed. Be sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and until next time, hustle hard and get that money, baby. Peace.